welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla and I am the owner of ICouldMakeThatBut, which is a small business that sells crochet plushies and other things crocheted. And I'm so glad you're here. In today's video, we are going to go over, I decided to make a 2024 temperature blanket. And I know that everyone else's videos are probably already up, but no time like the present. And also, I kind of wanted to make sure that I was going to stick with it. So now that we are about a month into January, I've been really consistent every day, so this video is happening. But as always, grab your own crochet project to work on while we work on this. In today's video, I'm going to also just kind of go through how I planned and decided on how I was splitting up all the temperatures and things like that. So definitely stick around and let's jump into it. Okay, so if you've never heard of a temperature blanket before, basically you can do it a couple of different ways. I've seen on like TikTok people do granny squares and do like a granny square per week, so each round is a day. Those always looked really cool. I've seen them where they might do it by like hour per day, which kudos, like huge kudos to those who do those kinds of temperature blankets. But how I am choosing to do it this year is I am finding the high of each day, as told for me from Apple, and just like, you know, living the day, and I am stitching a row for each day with its high. So far, I will show you what it looks like. So it is January 27th, and I've kept up with this. Goodness, sorry, all connected. So we have, it's a long one, because I know it's going to be 366 rows tall. I did 251 chains to do this, to which my friend, when I showed her, she said, why so long? And I said, I don't know, that I saw one video, the person who was doing it did 251, so I did 251. Would this have been shorter? Absolutely. But even as I put it on my lap or like across from me, I think it's going to be a fun big blanket. So this is 27 rows, not counting my foundation chain. So, and I think I've done a pretty good job of having it not look like it's going to like decrease too much, because that's always a fear. But let's get into more of like the details of how this all works. So before I started anything, I wanted to make a plan, because I wanted to make sure that I had a clear vision of what I was doing. So I decided, I live in Connecticut and our temperature is all over the place. It is New England, so we do have cold winters, hot summers, and then everything in between. But I also knew that it could like span like crazy. So I also did not want to buy like so much yarn because I already have so much yarn. So I decided to do spans of 15 degrees. So that was going to be 7 different colors. So I made a key for myself pretty early on with just breaking down the actual temperatures first. So I have a less than 15 degrees, this is all in Fahrenheit, 16 to 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, 61 to 75, 76 to 90, and then anything higher than 91 is this color. And so I think I said the first couple wrong, but I basically went up. This would focus, that'd be great. There we go. I went up a degree for each range, because basically, I mean, we don't really have decimals for temperature. I'm sure in reality it is, but on your phone it gives you a whole number. So when I went into Joann's, I knew I needed 7 different yarn colors. And then I had seen I think it was the Creations by Cameron video. She did the 251, and she also had a key pre-made, and she ended up using for her last year's blanket the Lions brand Heartland kind. And so I decided that I would look too, because I liked the color selections, and also this is a really soft yarn. I think this is a good blanket yarn. So, and this is like my first like real blanket that I'll actually finish, which is exciting. So this, let's see. So I'll go through closer what the colors actually are. So my lower than 15 degrees, which I haven't used yet, is this, and it's the White Sands. So I purposely got a color that I also did like for potentially other things, because I wasn't sure how much our high temperature would get below 15. I know that like there are times during the day where it's lower than 15 degrees, but because I'm doing the highs every day, I don't know if I'll actually get a row of this, but I have that. Then my 16 to 30 degrees is this color, which is Carlsbad Caverns. So I wrote the name too, because I knew I was going to probably end up losing a lot of the covers. And so that's why I have both the actual color there and then the name here, so that when this happened, I know which one it is. And then you can see in January, there was a chunk of a week that was in that colder time frame, so there's that. The color I'm currently using and using the most of is Voyagers, and so this color and then the next color of Grand Canyon, I ended up getting 2 skeins of to start, because I had a feeling I would be using them the most in at least this time of year, and I've been right. I've already completed 1 full skein of the Voyagers one, and then we're here and it's the end of and it's the end of January, so I'm hoping this gets through most of February. And you can also tell there have been a couple of like warm days in January, which is why I had started to break into this one. I have a feeling this one's going to be like really relevant in like March, if I'm guessing. And then a bunch of the stuff that I haven't touched yet, because you know it's winter, but we'll still go through them. This one is Bryce Canyon, this one is Yosemite, and this one is the Badlands. So with the Badlands, this is my over 91 degrees. Now that there's a much better chance that we will have some highs in that range, but I also, just like the White Sands one for when it's too cold, I got in a color that I liked just in case I need to use it for something else. So another tip that I had gotten was to keep everything together for your temperature blanket, and so I've been doing exactly that. This hook has been claimed for just this blanket. I keep everything in a bag, and I've been keeping it next to me because so far I've been pretty good about doing it daily, or at least catching up. I also have, I was going to show you my phone, that's what I'm recording on. I have a note. I will put a screenshot of the note here. But I basically have been putting the high temperature every day in this note, and then when I finish it, I put the green check mark emoji next to it so that I know that it's done. Just because like right now I can count rows still fine, and I'm always in theory going to be able to count rows, but like when we get to like day like 100, like it's just gonna be so much. So I'm just gonna have a running note in my phone for the year, which I think is also kind of cool to then see the different highs that were every day. Because you can like visually see color trends here, but it's interesting how close the numbers are, because there's been some of this like light blue, because this light blue is anywhere from 31 to 45 degrees. There have been some days where we're like really close to almost going to like this new, like this warmer color. And then there's other days where we're really close to going to this colder color. So I think it's cool to actually have the data to also back this up. Just nerd things, but that's fine. Other specifics that I decided for this blanket, I decided that my stitch was going to be a half double crochet for the whole thing. I know there are much fancier blanket stitches out there, and who knows, the 2025 blanket might have something more exciting, but I really wanted to be able to do a stitch that I was comfortable doing and I was willing to do over and over again, and it was going to keep me motivated to keep making this, because I knew if it was going to be something like that was too complicated, or like I had to like count through or whatever, because this is so long, I just knew that I wouldn't want to keep up with it. Just I know myself. And the other nice thing is that this blanket's for me, so there are a couple, or more than a couple, like imperfections. Like even if you look on the edge, it's not perfect, but it's my blanket, so I'm okay with the fact that there's imperfections. And I think it's fun that this is the first one that I'm doing like full out. And I love how a half double crochet looks, because it is really, really simple, but it looks really pretty. And so I was very happy with the stitch I chose. I also need to go back to Joann's, because now we're getting towards the end of the month, and I decided I want to do a month separator for each month. And so I think I'm pretty sure this brand has a white, or like a white-ish color that's different than this like cooler gray, because this is more of a gray. Yeah. Color. So I want to get a white so that I have like a clear row of like the month is changing, which means that this is going to be more than 366 rows. It's going to be 366 plus 12 is 378. Cool. This blanket's gonna be gigantic. One of the other tips that I had gotten was to make sure that your colors don't like clash. So I had decided not to do more of like the rainbow spectrum, not because I don't love rainbows, I do, they're great, but I wanted something that was, I don't know, the colors were a little bit chiller and a little bit more natural, which is why I went with this. So I have a very clear warm palette for like when it does get warmer, and like a milder and colder palette. But I watched Cameron's video, and she had a good point of like that this one would never be next to this one. But honestly, I think if any were next to any of them, they would look fine. I just don't know, maybe this and like this orange, that might be a little bit harsh, but even, I mean, that would be a wild day if we had a high that was between 16 and 30 degrees and then a high that was between 76 and 90 degrees. Yeah, that's when we know the world's really on its last leg. But my plan for this is to, during normal vlogs, check in probably like every quarter, because I mean, it's just gonna get bigger. Nothing more exciting is really going to happen with this, except that like it's going to get more finished, which is great. So yeah, I think during like normal like prep weekly kind of vlogs, I'll check in like, you know, March, what are the quarters? March, June, September, December, right? I think. Or really whenever I feel like it. But I'm excited that I was able to keep this going for a month, because that gives me more hope that I will actually be able to finish it for the year. Because I've always had small issues with like follow through, which is one of the reasons why I like changed the projects that I'm doing just so quickly. But This is nice because it's one a day. There was the long weekend we had for Martin Luther King. I was behind by like 5 days, but like on that Monday I just like sat down and just did 5 rows, and that was even fine. I just like put on a show and just like made it through. So I think this is nice. I think the note in my phone is definitely a huge help for that. And then once I'm done for the day, I just roll it up for now, because I don't know what my storage will be when this gets a lot longer, but for right now, at least for the winter, I just kind of roll it up like this. Oops. I stick my hook in, and then I just put it in the top of this bag, just like that. So when I go to Joann's, I'll probably end up also getting another of that light blue color, just because I see myself needing it more in February, and I'm already towards the end. I think I got somewhere around 12 rows, I want to say, with one skein. So I know I'm gonna probably be sinking some money into this, but it's okay because the cost will be spread out over the year, so it's fine. And I did get the bulk of like the beginning yarn while it was on sale, so that was good too. So now I'll just kind of be buying on like a need to basis. Like I'll only need one of that white kind because there will be 12 of those rows, actually 11, because I probably won't do one for the last day, because you'll know that it's December. And then we'll do and then like I'll slowly stop needing certain colors, at least for a little bit, until it gets colder again at the end of the year. So I think it will all balance itself out just fine. But that is the video today. It's a nice and short one, which I kind of like. I feel like I've been doing a lot of longer videos, so definitely comment down below which kind you prefer. But we have more market preps coming up. I want to do a goals video / like planning out some 2024 markets. I have on I made a 2024 bingo card for myself of different like goals and visions I want to achieve for this year, both in this business and then just in my personal life as well. So one of those squares is to sign up for 10 markets, and I think I can do it. I'm starting already to prep now for these markets I haven't really yet even committed to, but I know I will need things. And so yeah, definitely subscribe, follow along for all of this. This is going to be an exciting year, I really hope. Definitely check us out on socials. I put them right here. I am on Instagram and TikTok, and it is a 2024 goal that I am more consistent on them. So definitely make sure you check them out down there. And yeah, I am excited to keep making videos. Definitely also, if you have any questions or want to see anything in particular, comment down below. I'm always looking for content ideas. And I am so glad you were here. I'm so glad you made it to the end. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!